Happy Victory Monday, Steelers Nation. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and welcome into Steelers Talk. On today's morning edition of the show, we're going to be breaking down my 8 takeaways after last night. I sat down, I watched Sunday Night Football, then I rewatched this game, and I came away with 8 takeaways that I want to share with you guys for today's morning video. Before we get into the content today, make sure you click that thumbs up icon. If you love this football team, man, sitting at 7-2, they seem to find ways to win tough football games no matter what goes wrong. It's definitely looking good right now, coming off of 4 straight wins and an excellent month of football for the black and gold. So if you believe in this football team and if you're excited for the rest of this season, make sure you click that thumbs up icon to kick off today's show. So the first takeaway that we're going to discuss today on the show is Russ has changed the game for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense this season, plain and simply, okay? And in Week 10 here, this is the first time the Steelers have won a game this year where the Steelers defense gave up 20-plus points, okay? The 2 times that the Steelers lost this year, the defense gave up 20-plus, and Justin Fields and the offense weren't good enough to overcome that. In this one, the defense gives up 27. They had that big 14-point stretch to end this first half and then to start the second half. That's not a good stretch for the defense, but hey, man, this is a team that overcame that because the offense, even though it wasn't a perfect day, it was still able to come up with big plays when they needed to secure the victory. And Pittsburgh's offense has reached another level with Russell Wilson under center, not just in the passing game, but also in the run game as well. And that is due to the deep ball that Russell Wilson has implemented that Justin Fields really just didn't get going all that much when he was quarterbacking this football team. You take a look at the stat comparison here for the first 3 games for Russell Wilson in a Steeler uniform versus the first 3 games for Justin Fields in a Steelers uniform. I mean, the difference is very stark, especially in the points per game. Justin Fields and this Steelers offense, man, they weren't even getting over 20 points per game in those first 3 games. Even though they won those 3 games, the offense wasn't the reason why they were winning. Now Russell Wilson and this Steelers offense, right now, I mean, when it comes to points per game, if this was for the entire season, they'd be second to only the Baltimore Ravens in points per game at 30.3. You also see the efficiency here from Russ at 8.6 yards per attempt and Justin Fields down there at 6.9. It shows you that Russell Wilson is really doing a good job getting the ball down the field, and he's more efficient throwing touchdowns right now. He's doing a better job with less turnover-worthy plays per game, and then also he's taking less sacks. All I heard that when they went to Russell Wilson was he's going to take 1 million sacks. Well, guess what? Justin Fields was taking almost 1.5 sacks more per game than Russell Wilson is right now because he manages the pocket and has much better pocket presence than Justin Fields at this point in their respective careers, at least in my opinion. This one also comes from Jerry Dulac here that says Russell Wilson's winning TD to Mike Williams was his 40th career game-winning drive, second among active quarterbacks, and tied for 9th all-time with John Elway. So listen, man, Russell Wilson is an absolute winner, and not only was it his 40th game-winning drive, but it was also his 32nd fourth-quarter comeback of his career, which is also 9th all-time in the National Football League history, all right? So this is still somebody that can deliver in the clutch. This is still somebody that can deliver big victories. This is still somebody where if you are down in the fourth quarter, can still pull out a win for your football team. He did it last year with the Denver Broncos, where he led the league in fourth quarter comebacks just last season, and this is definitely an element that the Steelers just haven't had since prime Big Ben, and it's the reason why the Steelers have gone from a good team that's a playoff contender to a Super Bowl contender. That has been the difference for this team. By the way, Denver Broncos, thanks for paying $38 million this year for this guy, man, to play against you. Goodness gracious. You look at how Bo Nix is playing right now, and you look at the way Russell Wilson is playing right now. Russ is absolutely lighting it up. He's cooking. This Steelers offense is averaging over 30 points per game now. So big thanks to the Denver Broncos for picking up the tab for the starting quarterback here in Pittsburgh. So is this statement true or false? Let me know down there in the comments section. The Steelers can win a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson at quarterback this year. Is there even just a 1% chance the Steelers hoist a Lombardi trophy this year? Type T if you think this is true, or type F if you think it's false. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time by typing T for true or F for false. My second takeaway after watching the film from last night was it's time to unleash Mike Williams. All right, I think that when you talk about all the people that talked about Mike Williams here, it was pretty obvious that Mike just didn't have the playbook down, which is why he really wasn't on the field all that much yesterday. But now that he has another week to acclimate himself to this offense, there's no excuse for him not to be a full go next week versus the Baltimore Ravens at home. That is a huge football game, and as that touchdown catch late in the fourth quarter showed, I mean, this offense is built to have a guy like Mike Williams in there as a true one-on-one deep threat. If you want to really take advantage of this really bad Ravens defense, if we're being honest with you, it's a really bad passing defense. You need to have Mike Williams out there, and you need to have him at full force so they can't double George Pickens all the time, all right? So I'm very excited to see what Mike Williams is going to be able to do the rest of the season, and you just can't run this type of offense here where it's a Mike Williams offense where you're throwing deep shots down the field all game, but it's to guys like Calvin Austin III and Van Jefferson. I mean, I don't want to see Calvin Austin III or Van Jefferson run a go or a fade route and get the football for the rest of the season. Plain and simple. You got George Pickens, you've got Pat Freiermuth, you've got Mike Williams, you've got these guys that are bigger threats that can come down with these 50-50 balls. Don't be throwing these balls up to Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin III if you can help it. And if Mike Williams isn't on the field, don't run these kind of deep shot plays to guys like Jefferson and Austin. That's not what they do well. Let's put our guys in positions to succeed here, Arthur Smith, please and thank you. Okay, now let's get to our third film takeaway from this week's win, which is that you got to get George Pickens the ball in space more. I mean, every time that this guy catches the ball over the middle of the field, it feels like he can take it to the house. He is that dynamic of a threat with the ball in his hands, and everybody talks about the acrobatic catches and the tough catches down the sideline, and that's certainly a part of George Pickens' skill set here, but also another thing that makes him special is his ability to take a slant to the house, to get an extra 20 yards on an in-cut like he did yesterday. I mean, this guy's juking ability and his short area quickness is really special for somebody that's 6'3", 200 pounds, and I really do expect with Mike Williams looking to get acclimated into this offense as more of a true X-receiver in the weeks to come, that's going to just expand George Pickens' role. You're going to be able to use him on motion more often. You're going to be able to put him at Z. You're going to be able to bring him on in breakers more often. You're going to be able to put him in the slot and do some very creative things with this very dynamic, true number one wide receiver talent that the Steelers have on this roster. So honestly, guys, even though the Steelers are scoring 30-plus points per game with Russell Wilson right now, to think that this offense can get even better, and I do think it's going to get even better, is definitely a very promising prospect. So coming up here on Steelers Talk, defensive takeaways. I have quite a few takeaways on the defensive side of the ball and certain players that I thought had very good games and some players that did not have very good games here in Week 10 versus the Commanders. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor today at Public Rec. And let's be real, guys. Wearing nice pants absolutely sucks. Who decided that that stiff, uncomfortable fabric squeezing your family jewels was the key to looking sharp? Well, here's an early holiday gift from me to you. Those days are finally over. Public Rec's Daymaker pants are here to make sure that they're comfy and classy this holiday season. They feel like your favorite sweats, but look like tailored pants. Whether you're kicking back with holiday movies, making your way through leftovers, or watching bowl games with the boys, these pants have you covered. Heck, they'll even keep you looking sharp for that awkward holiday party with your in-laws. Give this gift of comfort to yourself or someone you love this holiday season with Public Rec's Daymaker pants. And for a limited time only, you can get 20% off your entire order from Public Rec today with code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. That's 20% off with your promo code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. And guys, it's more than just pants. They even have shirts as well. And honestly, guys, I'm wearing one of their shirts right now. You guys can see how stretchy the fabric is. It's super breathable, so you can even wear it during the summer, but it's also really soft, so it's super comfortable to wear around the house, to wear it outside, all these great stuff. And then for me personally, guys, when it comes to the pants, Public Rec is a game changer for me because of their tailored options. I am very tall and I am skinny, so it's very hard to find pants options that actually fit my body well, but with Public Rec and their tailored options with their pants, it's absolutely fantastic, guys. It gets me looking good every single day here at Chat Sports. So stop suffering in regular pants and give the gift of comfort this holiday season. For a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off when you use code CHAT20 at checkout. That's 20% off with the code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. Analyst.com. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Say goodbye to pants that put up a fight, because when comfort meets style, you've found Public Rec. Moving on to the defensive side of the ball and my film takeaways from this Week 10 win, I thought that the Steelers defense did a damn good job containing Jayden Daniels in this football game where, Jayden had his moments. He's the runaway favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year for a reason. But the way that the Pittsburgh Steelers really dialed in on Jayden Daniels is they blitzed him, and their gap sound, rushing lanes were just so sound. I was amazed with the way Cam Hayward, T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith when he was in the game, and even guys like Preston Smith who are new to this system, just covered up every hole for Jayden Daniels to potentially escape. Keanu Benton had a very big stop when he tried to escape the pocket late in the football game yesterday. And this is what Washington Commanders reporter for ESPN, John Keim, tweeted out yesterday. I thought it was very interesting. He said, according to True Media, Pittsburgh sent 5 or more rushers on 19 snaps, a season high. Previous high was 11 versus the Giants last week. Daniels was 7 for 16 in these situations with 3 sacks. So getting after Jayden Daniels via the blitz was very important for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin, they're turning up the heat over these last 2 games against the Giants and Commanders respectively. Was the 2 highest percentages of blitzes, and it resulted in Jayden Daniels only having 4 rushing yards. And honestly, the pressure was getting to him. There were some throws that he usually makes accuracy-wise that he did not make, especially in the second half, because he just knew in the back of his mind that this Steelers pass rush and that blitz was coming after him, and it definitely affected his accuracy, and it probably affected the outcome of this football game. And honestly, guys, Mike Tomlin just knows how to handle these elite rushing threats at the quarterback position. Lamar Jackson, his kryptonite is Mike Tomlin's Steelers defense. There's just something that Mike Tomlin knows about creating a scheme here that's very gap sound, that doesn't allow a quarterback to escape the pocket. If there's anybody in football that knows how to keep a quarterback in the bucket, it is Mr. Mike Tomlin. And speaking of guys on the pass rush that had a great game yesterday, let's talk about Captain Cam, man. I gave him one of my game balls in my instant reaction yesterday. He played an absolutely dominant game in yesterday's ball game, and when I turned on the film last night, it absolutely confirmed what I thought when I watched it live, man. 2 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and a pass breakup, man. And really, one of the sacks was late in the fourth quarter. The Commanders were driving. They had a chance with great field position to take the lead by 2 scores, which really would have been a nail in the Steelers' coffin. Instead, Cam Hayward gets a super quick sack that really puts the Commanders behind the 8 ball, and they end up punting in that particular set of downs. So Cam Hayward really did play a big part in the Steelers winning the football game yesterday, and he absolutely dominated that Commanders offensive line all day long. Speaking of guys that really played great all day long, Patrick Queen has really started to come on here in this Steelers defense, and he was a beast yesterday. He's starting to really play fast. Earlier in the year, I thought Patrick Queen had a little bit of a slow start. It seemed like he was not fully comfortable to play fast and play downhill because it was a new scheme for him, but now it feels like he is truly comfortable in it. As the green dot, he is the quarterback of this defense, as Mike Tomlin likes to put it, and man, the range that he brings to the table here, sideline to sideline, is why this team ended up pursuing him in free agency. He has been a big-time free agency pickup for this squad. He is that guy in the middle that's just in charge of everything, and right now he is firing on all cylinders, and because of that, so is the Steelers defense. Now, a couple guys that I thought didn't play all that well last night were Joey Porter Jr. and James Pierre, 2 of the guys on the outside in the secondary. Now, JPJ yesterday gave up quite a few yards to Terry McLaurin, the number 1 receiver for the Washington Commanders, and he also had 3 penalties yesterday, and some really dumb penalties, man. Just lack of discipline, grabbing when he doesn't need to be grabbing. I had a face mask penalty when the Steelers had a sack. When the Commanders were deep in their own territory, which really got them going. There's just stupid penalties from JPJ, and he is physical. That's part of JPJ's play style. But at the end of the day, today, his physical play style didn't really contain Terry McLaurin. If there's anybody on that Commanders offense that actually played well, it was Scary Terry, who had over 113 yards. He absolutely gashed the Steelers defense time and time again, and the guy that was mostly on him was Joey Porter Jr. Now, I'm not pressing the panic button on JPJ. I still think he's a great player. He's shut down enough number one receivers in this league for me to have full confidence in him, but this just wasn't his best game on film, in my opinion. Then the final takeaway here from Week 10. James Pierre cannot be the starting outside corner next week. He was absolutely getting bullied yesterday afternoon against the Commanders, even against guys like Noah Brown, who's kind of like a middling number 2 receiver. He was getting open time and time again, and I think that Cam Sutton needs to be the backup option here if Dante Jackson is not able to go. At the time of me filming this, we don't have any injury update on Dante just yet. With his hamstring injury, he did not return to the game yesterday, and James Pierre finished the game. But I think with a full week of practice to get Cam ready to play on the outside, that's what I would do. And I'd put Beanie Bishop Jr. in the slot because he's pretty much been a starter. Not pretty much. He has been the starting slot for the Pittsburgh Steelers this entire season. So I'm more comfortable putting Cam Sutton out there than James Pierre versus the Baltimore Ravens. Now, did I miss something? Let me know down there in the comment section. I gave you guys my 8 takeaways for this football game here, but let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Is there something worth mentioning that I missed that I should talk about later today on Steelers Talk Live? Let me know, and maybe I'll talk about it on News and Rumors later today on Steelers Talk Live. Coop and I will be live at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time to break down this game, break down next week's game against the Baltimore Ravens. It's Ravens week, baby, and I like the Steelers' chances at home to come away with yet another victory. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And until next time, here we go, Steelers.